well is just being able to communicate it effectively, you know, not sounding like you know, a dictionary, like you just know how to say a definition. Like give real world examples. So that's kind of yeah, exactly. Not sounding like a robot. Just kind of like, you know, being able to talk about it, you know, and overall just turn those interviews, because I think that's the hardest part of this course. The interviews, turning those into actual conversations, you know, so you can make it more comfortable for yourself as well.
Yep. I was gonna say that was the main as you were speaking, the word I was looking for that popped in my head was conversations because now
Hmm.
it's not more so like them grilling you, it's more so like you actually talking to someone like normally and you're
Sure.
using another language that you learn like EC2, application load balancer, using Terraform to build infrastructure. It's like 1+1 for you now.
Right.
And like you're really just talking to someone like you're like I'm you talking to me, I'm talking to you. And it's not
Hmm.
like they're grilling you, but it's like more so you are coming in as the expert to provide value to solve a problem that they have at the company. And that's when they're looking at you at an equal, not more so like they're higher than you. And, that power dynamic, if that makes sense, it kind of shifts. And
Not for
so
sure.
I want to ask,
Yeah.
I want to ask, do you feel like, from going through the 1% University, the cloud engineer program, you have the skill sets for the rest of your life, cloud engineering, you can get multiple offer letters from joining the program?
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, you know, this time around, especially with like the job market and stuff is tough, right? You know, we all are shooting for, you know, we all shooting down the same pipeline in a sense, you know, when it comes to just job applications and things of that sort. So it definitely was a waiting game. But for me, like I said, I do feel confident any interview I go into. Like, nah, I'm gonna make sure I take control of the interview. Like you said, I don't want to make it feel like they're grilling me or anything like that. Now you can come across those panels where it's that one guy on the team where he's like, nah, like I just he's not believing in what you're saying, or you know, or it can feel like he's just straight business. But for the most part, you know, transitioning from just learning the technical talk of it all, just being able to, you know, be yourself, you know, show them that like you're a good cultural fit as well, because that can also take you out the game. You know, I got told that in one of my interviews. They said I knew the work. They said they were confident in what I was doing, but they said I just wasn't overall a good cultural fit. Now I can add other stipulations around that, but I'll just keep it at that, you know. But nonetheless, I do feel like I'm confident in getting um more job offers in the
Okay.
future.
Do you feel like as long as there's like cloud AI, because AI is only making more opportunities for cloud engineers, do you feel like as
Mhm.
long as there's tech cloud, you know, in the market, you'll like money will never be a problem. Do you feel like that's the case for you?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you'll as far as like, and I asked this during the interviews as well, like whoever I'm working for, like just how long they've been in the game, like what was kind of like their journey, you know, and longevity is the main thing when it comes to this. You know, I know we get nervous with AI as far as whatever your position is prior to this, you know, you can may feel like your job is at risk, but nonetheless, you know, you want to just make sure. You're just keeping up to date with it. You know, you're keeping up to date with what's going on. You know, and like I said, we're in a community all together, so we have resources within this boot camp, this community, to like keep us sharp. Like you can do your own research as well, but just you know stay active on this because you know it's a long game. When that's what I realized. Like you can be cool with you know learning one thing and you know, sticking to what you know. But as far as to make yourself, like you said, add more value to other companies and just be good across the board, you kind of want to be a jack of all trades in a sense.
Yes, sir. And so, no, that's pretty much it on your end. Unless you want to have a 1% gem that could help anybody out there. Just any advice. You kind of already said an advice, but if you want to add anything before I move on to the next person. Uh,
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, like I said, if if you feel any type of discouragement or just no motivation, to continue to move forward because it's not easy. It is a rinse and repeat method when it comes to just doing something towards making yourself better at what you're trying to learn. Just do it. I see this one guy in here. I think he might be talking today. Christopher.
Mhm.
I can't pronounce his last name, but I see him. He's very consistent. As far as his activity on the wins page on any channel that we have up here. He's very active. So I want to give a shout out to him as far as just use that as a like a eye opener. Like, hey, you're seeing him. He's constantly pushing things out. To show you guys like, hey, it's possible. So nonetheless, use that. Stay consistent, and don't be afraid to ask. We're a community. We're all a family. At the end of the day, with this, like as soon as I lost my job, Ty was the first guy I hit up. He was like, "Hey, it's time to just get right back to it." So,
Mhm.
nonetheless, like it's a journey, but just stick with it, man. That's my only gem. Just stick with it and and practice communication with it. I promise you, this course is the easiest thing that you're going to go through. The interviews, that is a different ball game. It's like
Mhm.
he told us he can't guarantee us a job, but he's going to do everything in his power allow us to have the resources to get our foot in the door. Now when we get in our foot in the door, you gotta show them like, hey, we come from 1%. We not nothing to play with. Like we really can be the next best thing that you guys hire or whatnot.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Um,
that's all I.
and so for all the questions, I'll see you guys where are you getting most. And so we'll definitely answer it at the end.
Yeah, I seen a couple come through. I was trying to
Focus.
ignore, but yeah, go ahead. I'll answer some questions. No worries.
No, I'm gonna come back to you. I got you. But in
Okay.
terms of Stormy, are you there? I swear, Stormy that's his actual name. He has the coolest name
Yeah,
I've ever heard.
I'm right
Oh
here.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Stormy, can you come off on camera?
Can you see me?
Yes, sir. Growing out the hair, I see. I see
Yes,
you,
sir.
boss. Nah, but yeah, Stormy is like, all right, so one of the things Jalen said, I forgot exactly what he said, but this popped in my mind. Like, you know, I've said this to somebody on a one-on-one, but like a year is gonna go by regardless. 2 years is gonna go by regardless. The whole point is to make sure that you're in the car going in the right destination. Time is gonna go by regardless. And so even if you're slow, even if it's taking you more time, a year is gonna go by regardless. And this is a system to have you increase your income by a few pennies. And so just keep that in mind. All my students who's just joined, who's in the process, the stuff works. It's just a matter of can you work the system? The system works, but can you work the system? So Stormy, thanks for joining. And Stormy is like, number one, he has the coolest name I've ever heard, but then also his story is insane because this is a true testament that if Stormy can do this, literally anybody can. So, Stormy, go ahead and introduce yourself and kind of share your story.
Okay. Well, what's going on, guys? My name's Stormy, and I want to say I joined the program about a year and 9 months ago, something like that. And when I first joined, I didn't have any experience with IT, and I just started studying the course. And then after about 6 months, that's when I made my LinkedIn profile and put my resume on there, got it all situated. And then I got about an interview every single week for about 3 weeks in a row. So the first two interviews, I didn't do too well on them, but then the third one, I actually got that. I landed the third interview, and it was kind of surprising because I was able to land my first, six-figure IT job within 7 months. And it was just crazy to me because I was just going through the course and doing the all the homework, and then to be able to actually land the real job, that was pretty crazy. And then here recently I landed another offer, and then this one was for 190K. And that one, I want to say it was probably actually the easiest interview I've ever done. I don't know how, but this is like a really big position, but the interview was actually super chill. First round, it was like 30 minutes, and me and the guys on there we were just vibing. Actually, the technical questions they asked were really simple, and I was expecting it to be crazy since it was such a big role, but they just asked me some of the easiest questions in the world, like how do you troubleshoot a Kubernetes pod that went down, like just some of the easiest stuff. So I ended up getting that. And it was a 2 round interview. Second round was like 30 minutes, and he didn't really ask technical questions. He was just kind of talking to me, making sure I'm not too much of a crazy person. And then a few days later, I got the letter. So yeah.
Nice, nice. And so I really want to emphasize this because this is, you know, Stormy does not have a college degree, right? He doesn't have certifications. He didn't have any IT experience. Did you know what a hard drive, did you know what RAM was? Did you know like anything in tech?
No.
And so he was able to go through this program step by step. And I think it's like a year and a half later, he was able to earn a doctor's salary, $300,000 a year. He didn't spend 8 to 12 years in school and $300,000 in student loans. He was able to pay a fraction of that to be able to make a doctor's salary working less hours. And so it's really just about determination. It's about commitment. Stormy was committed, and I literally showed him how to do it. And do you have any advice or 1% gem that you would give to anybody out there who just started, or just any advice you would give to them?
I would say once you learn all the technical things and you learn how to work your way around the computer and getting in and out of servers, I would say just get really good at the communication part, because when you're on the interviews, even if they do look at you on a coding assessment, they're not going to watch you code for more than a few minutes. Really, the interviews is more so about how well you can speak to them. And that's honestly the most important part if you want to land roles, just being the best communicator.
Cool, cool. And one of the things I want you guys to understand is there's something called there's the different levels of interviews. Okay. There's the different levels of interviews, and then also your skill, the skill set that you possess. Okay. Let's just say, right? I'm just gonna use my hands because it's too much. Let's just say that because Stormy, he said it was the easiest interview that he had. Okay. So let me see if I can see. I can't.
Uh, yeah, Tyler, real quick, stop your camera from like tracking your face.
Yeah, it's I don't know how to do that because it's already connected. Let me see. Nah, I don't know. So we'll try to do it like that. All right, cool. So what we'll do is there's easy interviews, there's medium, okay, and there's hard. Okay. Stormy had the easy interview based off of his skill set. Let's just say there's there's a skill set from level 1 to level 10. Let's just say based off of Stormy's skill set at level 7.
Bengal Customer Service, and my name is Trey. May I have your first and last name, please?
Trey at work. Let's just say that Stormy is on level 7. This is really important because I want you guys to understand like the reality of getting these offers, right? Jalen has a certain skill level. Let's just say Stormy has a level 7 skill. Based on the level that you are, right? It's just a number I made up, but based on the level that you are, if you get an easy interview, let's just say if you go on 2 of them, you should get 1 offer letter, just based off of probability and statistics. Okay. Now, on the medium, let's just say maybe it's 1 out of 4 interviews. Okay. On the hard, let's just say it's 1 out of 7 interviews. Okay. Based off of the skill level that you possess, so being able to clearly articulate yourself, being able to show the value, understand the problem, right? Not really show that, you're like an amateur. Like really do the 100 reps and pass these mock interviews that Felipe is on, and he'll let you know if you pass or not. Being able to increase your skill level depending on the opportunity of the interview that you possess. It can be an easy one, a medium, or hard. There is a certain number of interviews that you have to go on to get an offer letter. Jalen got his first offer letter on his first interview, right? Stormy had the easiest interview, and it was for $190,000. And so it's all just numbers. But the main thing that I teach is the skill set, not how to get a job. Yes, I do teach that how to get a job, but I prioritize how to get the skill set because a job can go away, right? Jalen's job, he had lost his contract because they were ending the contract, but he still had the skill. And so type of 1% in the chat if that makes sense. I want you guys to understand what to aim for, what the focus and goal should be, the skill set. If I really wanted to, so funny enough, I didn't really share this with somebody, with you guys, but I'm deciding to go back and building a C2C company. Okay. What does that mean? It means that I can actually hire people within the coaching program to actually do these to actually work on these contracts within my cloud consulting company. Now, I'm going to be doing the interviews, but I can knock it out the park. Why? Because I still have the skill set. No one can take that away from me, right? I can make $500,000 if I want to. But it's because I put in the reps and I put in the work. A year is going to go by regardless. I learned the skill set in 2 months. I'll spend like 4 or 6 hours a day learning. But nonetheless, that is my little tangent and TED talk. But I want you guys to understand those numbers because you should focus on the skill set. And based on the interview that you get, you'll be able to tell, oh, that was easy, or that was a little bit challenging, or that was really hard, right? There is like a certain amount of numbers of interviews you have to go on to actually understand, to actually, use like a probability. Oh, if I go on 3 interviews, I should get one. If I go on 3 easy interviews, 2 easy interviews, I should get one, right? Based on the skill sets that you have. And so that is actually a software that I'm trying to build so you guys can actually like put in your skills so it can assess your level. And then it'll say, okay, everything I just showed you, it'll be able to visually show you guys. I've been working on a lot of stuff, but I digress. So once again, type of 1% in the chat if that makes sense. So that cloud consulting business is actually an opportunity to provide jobs for you guys too as well. But it will only be available for my top students that's past mock interviews. And I will be interviewing you myself because you'll be representing the company. And just to be able to add more opportunities for you guys. Okay. Nice. Nice. Cool. Cool. I've already called you before in the past, but Magnus, I actually want to pull you up. Are you there, Magnus?
Yo, what's going on?
Nothing much.
Yo,
1 second.
Tayo,
Yes, sir.
I saw Jason say he wants to go next
Oh,
because he has
Jason.
to help with his kids.
Oh,
his wife and
Jason.
kids.
Jason, you there? We can actually pull you first because of time.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Of
Let
course.
me hop on real quick. Yeah, so I'll share a little bit about my experience is before joining the program, I did have a little bit of a AWS Cloud Foundation experience, but I'm in the middle of a call, please.
You good, boss.
Sorry about that. My baby was like crawling in. But yeah, so I had a little bit of Cloud Foundation experience, but it had been like a couple years. So at that time, before I joined the program, I miraculously actually did get a job offer for a cloud engineering position. And I was like, crap, I got it. But I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do the job because I didn't feel really confident in my skills. So that's when I found Teo and I joined the program. And so that really helped me close in that skill gap. And that really helped me like rebuild that foundation and my skills. So that's a shout out to the program. So that really helped me there. But since the year that I've been working this contract now, the contract's actually ending soon. So that's why I've been really aggressive with the job search right now. And so right now, the kind of way I do it is when I apply for a role, right, I try to find a recruiter or a referral, right? Somebody who works there or like knows me or who I know kind of works there. And so I'll reach out to them on LinkedIn or Clearance Jobs. I'll introduce them to myself with like a DM or like an email. And so I kind of let them know briefly my skill set, what I'm looking for and like the role in the company that I'm interested in. That's usually really helped me out get my applications a lot further, like expedited in the process. there have been like some recruiters that I've been off and on talking to throughout the year. So having somewhat of a relationship there, and they understand like I'm not gonna be like really communicating with them a lot when I'm working a role because I'm not really active. But I let them know, hey, I'm interested, like I'm active, I'm kind of looking for a role. So then they'll immediately, get back to me. So it's really good to have that relationship with recruiters and referrals. And so I've been really trying to beef up like my LinkedIn, connecting with other recruiters, other engineers, and that's kind of what's led me to some of the current opportunities that I'm really looking into right now that I'm moving along in the process with. Um, Usually like when I work with the recruiter, what one of the best things or one of the good things with working with recruiters, kind of being able to communicate like somewhat of a story or like a roadmap how I got where I am and like how my skill set aligns with the role. And they're really helpful, if there's anything that needs to be tweaked in my resume or anything like that before they submit it off to the hiring manager, they'll help me out with that. And so they'll like, hey, just add these few things, or if you can testify to these other skills, then I'll just tweak up my resume and then they'll send it to the hiring manager. And so if there's like a skill set that I don't have, I'll try to briefly like just like touch up on it, like at least a theory of it, and like being able to say like, oh, I have like a theoretical understanding or a foundation with it, rather than saying like, no, I've never used it at all. Like I don't know what it is. I'll try to get somewhat sped up with it, so that way they'll know that I'm like still learning, and that I'm like, or I might even attest to like a similar tool that I've used, and so it kind of shows that I'm not like just saying no or I don't know, or like they're like they want to see like you're the kind of person who's going to go out and like learn things and figure things out. So that's helped me out a lot.
And
And then was that?
no, go ahead. I have a question right after that, but go ahead.
All right, all right. Yeah, and so then also like being able to confidently talk to like what projects I've worked on. I try not to go like too deep into it. I let them go too deep into it if they want to. I try to just keep it at a high level. Like these are some of like the high level things that I've worked on, how it aligns with what the job is looking for, and that's really helped me out a lot. One thing in the latest verbal job offer that I got, it was for an on-site role, and he told me, hey, there was a better candidate. He had more certs, like he had more years of experience, more skills and whatnot. But he really liked the way that I communicated, the way I spoke, and my positive attitude throughout the whole interview. He was like, "That's the kind of person we need for the team. Like the skills, like you can get caught up on that. We have really good people on the team who can teach you those kind of skills. But having that kind of character and that kind of positive attitude really went a long way for the hiring manager. And so for that reason, he was like willing to wait a couple extra days for me to get back to him if that's the role that I wanted to, because he really wanted me. So that's just one thing that's really helped me in my interviews, is just having a good attitude, showing that I'm a team player, and that I can learn, and I can learn. I'll be aggressive, and I'm not just gonna like just sit in the background. Like I'll do the best that I can. So I try to convey that. And even though there's other people who are better than me at the role, I let them know that like, hey, I'm going to do the best that I can, and and have a great attitude while I'm doing it. Try to be a pleasure to work with, and that's gone a long way for me.
And I want to touch on that too, because I don't know if you remember watching the video on like the characteristics that hiring managers are looking for, the different qualities. Did you watch that video and apply those concepts for them to like, you know, they chose you because of the type of person you were that they were looking for. And I had mentioned that in that video on week 7 of the program. Was that the concept, the knowledge that you applied on the interview?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I that definitely was a part of it. I'm also just like, I generally just try to be that person as well,
Mhm. That
like
helps.
in and out of the job, and so that's definitely helped. But yeah, yeah, definitely what you taught in the program helped me out as well. It just goes a long way, because there's people who are like in this field, they're like super technical, they're really good at what they do, but they're like the kind of people who just like sit in their basement. They're not like really like kind of reclusive, they don't really talk or engage much, and that like even though they're like really good at what they do, if like, they don't have that communicative skill set, especially in the cleared spaces. I work with the government. If you have to like talk to somebody who's higher up or like in the chain of command, be able to kind of just like test to like what your team's working on, things like that. It's really good to have somebody who has those good communication skills. So yes, Teo, thanks for that in the program. It definitely helps a lot.
Nice, nice. And I want to emphasize that because you guys literally just heard Jason, there was another more qualified candidate, more experience, more certs, right? But they chose him. And so it's just to say, I can't stress this enough. You don't have to figure out anything. I've already figured it out. And because I know what they're looking for because I asked them, I asked 5 hiring managers, what do you look for? Do you care about, you know, the certifications, the degrees? They said, hey, we're looking for X, Y, and Z. And so what did I do? I took X, Y, and Z and I put it in a video. Jason heard it, he applied it. He was already that type of person, so it helped him tremendously. But now he has a sense of focus to be able to apply on these interviews because he knows the answers to the test. Type of 1% in the chat if you guys are picking up what I'm putting down. Go ahead and type a 1% in the chat if you guys are picking up what I'm putting down. Nice, nice. Dan, okay, cool, cool, nice. Emmanuel, Marvin, nice, cool. Jason, do you have a 1% gem that you want to give to anybody watching this right now?
Man, a 1% gem. I kind of threw everything out there that I had.
What's so try to do it in like one sentence or two sentence. What is one thing that will make the most difference?
The one thing that will make the most difference, I would say, so I would say like in like two pieces, right? They're the technical aspect and then also like the personal aspect is like personally, yes, of course, be the person who is a pleasure to work with, right? Even if you're working with people who are not a pleasure to work with, you just be proactive and be that person no matter what. Be that person who is a pleasure to work with. And then another thing, like technically, like if like well, along with like the program, you know what the program says, I kind of have like a home lab that you're working on at home, something that shows like, oh, not only like is he doing what he needs to do on the job, but he has like a project that he's working with at home that's, you know, helping him like stay on top of like the latest tools, you know, like with the latest skill sets. It just shows like you're proactive. It shows that, you know, you really care and you're passionate about what you're doing. And then it also gives you an opportunity to lead the interview, right? Instead of like letting them grill you, just be like, hey, this is something I'm working on. And then let them pick at that, like, oh, that's really interesting. So now they're talking about something that you already are really good at and experienced with because it's something that you're building, something that it's like your baby, your project. And so you can attest to that more so than any, like if they're just trying to like grill you out of the blue kind of thing. So those are kind of the two things that I would say would really help you go like a long way with these interviews and all these opportunities.
And I cannot agree more. I did a Netflix clone project. I literally built
Exactly.
Netflix, and it was a clone version. And I showed passion. I showed like excitement. I said, I work on this after work. And they were like so happy because it's a cool kind of concept. Jinjo used something similar. It was I think it was I forgot what it was, like a Spotify or a sports betting app, but using different tools in the tech stack, Terraform, Jenkins, right, to actually build a solution. And so showing that passion and talking about something interesting, like Netflix clone, that's interesting. How did you do that? And that's your baby. So you're saying, oh, I did this, I did that, I did this. And it's just when I did that on one interview, they literally said that was something that made you stood out. It was not only what you worked on, but how you communicated. And it was just like we know that you love this and we're looking for someone like that. It's a character. And so top the 1% in the chat if you guys are following along. Jason, thank you so much for your testimonial. We're going to go to Magnus and Chris afterwards too as well. But Magnus, you there? Cool, cool. I see you guys with the 1%. It's nice, nice, nice.
Yo, what's going on, bro?
Pretty good, man. So Magnus, kind of talk about how you met me. And just your journey in terms of like how you even like not only met me but heard about the program years later and then where you are now.
Yeah, we went to the same college, so I been knowing you for a long time. But we rekindled at a common friend's birthday party, and I know we was talking about your program for like a good minute. Basically, I joined, went through the program.
Wait,
Um,
let's I'm sorry to do this because I remember, and this is important because when I was on a call with Magnus, and Magnus at first he was like, wait, $500,000, like working how much? How many hours? He was like, what? And it was kind of shocking to him. But then on the call, when they were talking about him joining the program, he was a little bit hesitant, a little bit. And he had asked me, he was like, yo, why do you like, he's like, why are you, I forgot what you said, but it was like, why are you so like, I forgot what it was, but it was like, I was on the phone with him for some time and I forgot what he said, but I was like, I told him, I said, because I want this for you. Like I already see what this can do, and I want this so bad for you because I know you personally. And but
Yeah.
like I already know what it can do because it's done it for me. But Magnus hasn't experienced it. He hasn't gone through the program. He hasn't gotten a job offer. He doesn't know the life that he could have. But I knew that. So that's why I could have just said like, okay, want to join, cool, deuce. But nah, I was like, yo, this is X, Y, and Z, and I know you can do this. And so
Yeah.
I want to just emphasize that, because we're talking about when you met me and then when you joined the program. So I'm just filling in those gaps. That was super important part of your story. But go ahead and continue. We're at the
I would definitely say from the conversation we had back then, to now, it's like I definitely see the it come to fruition, you know. So actually going through the program and actually, actually getting the job. Well, first getting the skill to be able to get the job. It basically played out how it was expected to. So yeah, I mean, now I'm in a row, you know, not quite at 500, but halfway there kind of situation. And just learning new skills. Right now at the row, I'm working on Azure, not necessarily AWS, but just another thing to differentiate me, make me a better candidate to be, all around cloud engineering, etc. Um, so yeah, it just literally this weekend I dusted up the old resume because I kind of been out the game a little bit, just kind of learning a little bit. Dusted up the old resume, putting it back on the market. Let's try to add a third one.
Okay, okay. And kind of talk about, some of the what was like the biggest thing that kind of helped you? And I'm asking this question because anybody that's listening that's in the program right now, they'll be taking notes and applying it. But what's some of the things that kind of really made the difference for you to see success?
Um, I think it's initiative on my part. Everything I know, I had to kind of go fish out that information. Aside from the program, you could take the program, but I think you would do yourself a disservice if you just stop at the program. Um, you should also try to like grab more information about the tools just for yourself so you can, speak on it a lot more confidently, just outside of what the program is. Trust me, what you do in the program is cool to talk about as well. But if you could take an extra step to learn a little bit more, that would do you a good service. And I would say communication. Like sometimes if you don't know how to do something, it might even be better that you can speak on something than actually be able to do it. It's kind of crazy to say,
It's
but
it's funny because Jinjo never did an ETL pipeline project. That was the project I did on my resume. But he literally went to ChatGPT and he learned about it. He never did it, but he just learned about all the things that can pop up that's wrong and how to solve it. And he just knew how to speak on it. And so
yeah,
that's what he used on his interviews.
I'm not gonna lie. I did so AWS has like a migration service, MGN. I swear I have never used it, but I watched a video on it and I was talking about it on an interview. I'm like, bro, should I be talking about this when I never used it? It's crazy. But yeah,
So
it how you communicate is very important. Because communication could show one or two things, like like the information you're communicating, or you're actually even if you don't know, you're someone we can work with. I think Story might have alluded to that, like it was an easy interview and they liked them, they vibe with them or something like that. So yeah, so I would say definitely communication and take the initiative to learn a little bit more to help yourself out.
And I want to emphasize this too. I do not subscribe of like talking about something you've never done. That, like the program is designed for you to do the projects, for you to do the action steps, for you to do the tech challenges, and then you communicate based off of that, right? But it's just to say the importance of communication, which is, a lot of programs don't really speak on that. They don't show you how to brand yourself online, how to attract recruiters reaching out to you, how to be able to communicate effectively so they know and you give them confidence that you can do the job. Okay. And so, is there anything else? So you had the offer letter. How long have you been on the job so far? It's been like a month or two?
Like, I've been like 3 or 4 months.
Okay. Do you feel
I gave myself that 3 or 4 months period to kind of learn everything on this new platform. But now I'm back, I'm hopping back into the market now.
Do you feel like for the rest of your life, like you can always make some money with this skill set as long as there's jobs in tech?
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm straight.
You feel like money will ever be a problem?
No.
Can I hold a dollar? I'm just kidding.
Can I hold that? Let me ask you that question. Can I hold $1?
I give it right back. That look, but let me stop playing. But nonetheless, I'm always emphasizing the value of the skill. No one can take that skill. No one can take this piece of paper. That's what they try to tell you. But I was driving Uber Eats at 2 a.m. in the morning, having this piece of paper, college degree and certifications. For me, it just did not work. But once I learned the skill, that's when I was able to become valuable to the market because I got what they want. And you're learning the same exact thing. So type in 1% in the chat if that makes sense, you guys. Type in 1% in the chat if that makes sense. Yeah, Drew said something extremely important, right? He said every student so far has mentioned communication as a big key. I wonder why programs don't really talk about that. They don't emphasize the point of doing 100 reps of like that is super important. And that is something that a lot of people in tech don't know how to do. So when you come on these interviews and you talking your shit, excuse my language, you're gonna be an actual one percenter because not a lot of people can do that.
Yeah.
And so yeah, they just want your money. That's what I'm trying to tell you, right? It's a company that sells these pieces of papers. It's called universities. There's actually a company, funny enough, that sells these certifications. It's called CompTIA. They make some money. Anyways, that's besides the point. That's just my own little theory. Um, And so, Chris, it's good to have you, man. Chris is becoming one of the best students we probably will ever have. Like I'll say top. Right now, he's on track to probably hitting the fastest time of hitting $500,000. And now, mind you, anybody that's listening to this, like Chris does have experience. Right, he's already in tech, so the learning curve isn't as steep, but what I want to focus on is the commitment, is the consistency, right? That's something that Chris has put, he's put time and energy into this. So Chris, you can come come off mute. I see you're already off mute, but kind of share your experience, and just share your story, how you
All
found
right.
me. Just go, everything you want to share.
All right. Well, hey everybody. I'm Chris. So if you guys been watching the Wins channel, I've been, all up in there.
Okay.
But yeah. But yeah, so I've been in the tech industry for a while. So I've been in it for about 12 years. So I'm yeah, I'm pretty seasoned. But what happened was I had my last role was with Ernst and Young, and when that role was terminated, they had layoffs. Um, and when that role was terminated, essentially what happened was I was like, okay, I took a bit of a break. This was in November 7th. I took a bit of a break for a couple months and I'm like, okay, what do I do next? I've always wanted to try, job stacking, but I don't think I could do that with what I was doing in tech. So I was doing coding. I was doing mainly front end development and I was working on artificial intelligence, systems too. Like, so it's just really tough to kind of job stack with that. So I'm like, okay, well, what do I do? And so as I was like, looking up things online and YouTube, I came across Teo. And one thing that he talked about was how to make like 500,000, or whatever. And I'm like, how's that even possible? Like, there's no way. Like, even with my experience, I'm kind of capping at like what in my previous role I make like what 175, and then with bonus I was at like maybe 185. So I was making good money before, like don't get me wrong, but I had to be a lead and that's significantly more stress. And that's the thing, like when he was saying to make 500,000 and still be able to have some sort of like work-life balance, I was like, oh wow, like kind of sold. And then he also talked about investment opportunities as well. So I was like, okay, this is seems like an all-in-one package. I mean, so more. So I marathon all the videos on YouTube. And then at this point, I'm not working, so it's kind of like I have nothing but time. And then I decided to, give him a call, make the leap, set up that call, and then essentially decide to join the program. And then from there, it's kind of been history. I was like, hey, let me actually put my best foot forward with this. And then from there, I think I got done with the program. Was it like I think 2 weeks, I think, when I was done. And then From there, it was doing the mock interview with Felipe. That went well. And then from there, it was just now trying to get interviews. And the first interview I got, that didn't go too well. That was a site reliability engineering role. And they were asking questions I just didn't know. And I'm like, I don't know what to tell y'all. And then the second then the second interview I had, that went really well. That was with a startup, and that's when I got the verbal offer from them. I think I got the verbal offer, I want to say like a couple days later, but I was waiting for the real offer. And then I got a second offer with another company, with a project with the Department of Defense. So that one I got both like official offers, I think on Monday of this week. So yeah, I mean I end up denying both of them because one, they're not remote. Two, the offer that came in for the startup, that was 135 and then 15% bonus, but they wanted to be a lead architect for their Google Cloud platform because they're like, oh, your AWS knowledge is so great and you could kind of transfer the cloud concepts over to different cloud platforms anyway. But I was like, I just felt like 135 for a lead was very low. And it's a startup, so it's a lot more work. So I was like, yeah, it's a no. And then the other one, they were stuck at the 120K. They weren't going to budge, weren't going to make me remote. So I was like, yeah, no. So now, I got no offers. But I'm going to keep on going till I get the right one. Right now I have an interview on Monday, so tomorrow, with this company called AIT. I'm going to be following up with two other companies I did interviews for last week that I just haven't heard back from yet. And I have my third round interview with the Federal Reserve Bank, and that interview was tough. 3 rounds, and they were not playing with me. So they really drilled me with technical questions. Um, so yeah, but I mean that's pretty much been my journey. I mean, I think it's been pretty good so far. And I enjoy learning new things. So
Cool. And what I want to, so there's two or three offer letters you've gotten since joining the program.
I've gotten two so
Two?
far,
Okay.
and I'm hoping the third one's gonna be incoming soon.
Okay.
So
And then
fingers crossed.
how many companies are in the pipeline right now of like interviews?
Right now there's one called Leidos. There's another one called Red Violet. There's the Federal Reserve Bank is a third one. There's AIT. There's UPS.
Jesus Christ.
There was Amazon, but they tried to get me to do a 2 hour assessment, and I wasn't gonna do that. So I
Yeah.
was like, no, no, didn't bother with that. And there are th like I think three others that I just can't remember because there's so many. Um, but yeah, but so far that's what's going on, and I'm hoping to land interviews with like hopefully like the other three that I've been interested in. So yeah, we'll see what goes on.
Slight flex. I wasn't going to say nothing, but I was thinking the same thing. What I wanted to say was,
Oh, my bad.
no, 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 it's completely fine. But in terms of,
Apologize. That's no, you work for it.
Oh,
for real, for real. And you guys, you see Chris in the Wins channel almost every day, but like it's a direct reflection of the time and energy that he put inside the program, the blueprint, to get a specific outcome. Now, anybody that's listening, anybody that's that's ever talked to me like on a one-on-ones before joining the program, I told you I will never tell you, hey, in 2, 3 months you'll get an offer letter. I have no idea if you're going to get an offer letter. I don't know if you're going to put the time and energy into it. I don't know how quickly you pick up on things. But what I do know is the people that have gone through this blueprint, me, myself included, that created it, we were able to get opportunities. And so that's what I do know in terms of the blueprint, but I don't know certain factors. And so I'm very transparent, and Chris is a testimony, a testament to putting that time and energy into the blueprint to be able to receive multiple opportunities. So I lost track after 5 different, companies in the pipeline. I think he said, I don't even remember, but the results is insane, but it's a direct reflection of the time, commitment, energy that he put into the program. And so I can't stress that enough. I think if you guys want to pick up something, it's literally that. That is the formula. The time and energy, the mindset of commitment, plus the blueprint. Those different components equals a certain outcome. Okay. And patience, time. Chris, how long have you been in the program?
I started January 13th, so it'll be a month and 2 days.
And
I'm
so,
sorry, 2 months and 2 days? 2 months and 2 days. Ooh, my math is off. Yeah, so 2 months and 2 days.
and so now keep in mind, he has experience in tech. And so the learning curve is not as steep. But
Yeah.
regardless, we have Stormy. He didn't even know what a hard drive was. He's now making $300,000 a year. And so it's just to say that there really isn't any excuse, and it's my job to serve you to be able to reach your income potential. And so all you have to do is time and energy, commitment, right, into the system. And we're here to serve you and get you unstuck in the whole 9 yard. And so, Chris, I can't stress this enough. You really might be the best students I've ever had. And so I didn't forget about the Hall of Fame in terms of who's gotten the 500K first. I know Cleo's there, Greg is there, and I have the times. I just need to use AI to build the web app so you guys can see it. But Chris is on track to hitting the $500,000 in offer letters. So we'll see. We'll see. It's kind of fun and it's kind of crazy
Yeah,
to see it.
we'll see what happens. But yeah, I mean, it's been really. I'm not gonna lie, it's been kind of tough. Not gonna lie. Even with like my time in the industry, because it's still brand new things, it's still new concepts you have to learn. Um, and then you have to learn them well enough to be able to effectively communicate that in an interview. So that's kind of another thing too. And then in these interviews, I don't know, like I feel like all my interviews have been medium to hard. I don't know if it's because when they look at my resume, they see my years of experience and they're like, okay, we're gonna get you. I don't know. But it's been a lot. But one thing though that I've always done is that like my first interview was for an SRE role, right? I didn't understand some of the things that they were asking. They were asking some stuff I'm like, oh, I don't know. But what I did was that I remembered what they asked. I put it into ChatGPT, made a small project, and so the offer that I got for 120K was an SRE role.
And guess what he
You know,
did? And I talk about this in the program. I wish I had my whiteboard. It's right there. Level five, took a L, took the questions, built a project, level five to now level six. And because he's on level six, because he had another interview, he was able to get that offer because he increased his skill level. And so it's like there really is not any excuse. Anybody inside the 1% university making $500,000 a year is the baseline minimum. It is a mindset belief. It's a mindset shift. I used to think $500,000, oh my gosh, that used to be my big goal. Now it's like that's bare minimum. And that is it's just a belief. You just have to actually accept it. Fake it. If you don't believe it, just fake it. Say, hey, $500,000 is nothing. Keep on saying that for 30 days and watch what happens. And so now that you have the mindset, you're now learning the skill set because you can't say, "Hey, I want to fly to the moon and sit on the couch and eat potato chips all day," right? And so you have to learn how to actually do, what you want, which is $500,000 a year minimum, which is $25,000 a month after tax in the state of Maryland. Okay, and so Chris, is there anything that you want to share that anybody that's listening right now in terms of how to get to where you are? And there is a gap because you do have years of experience, but talking about, the learning process, the commitment, like anything that can help them get to the skill, because you did learn the skill.
yeah. So I definitely do have some tips. Like even like after I got on the leaderboard, there are some people that messaged me and I was like, oh hey, well, here's some advice that I have that I think would really help. The biggest thing I would say that really helped the most is being mindful of how you use ChatGPT. Um, while it can be helpful, if you're not careful with how you're using it, it will do too much of the work for you, and your brain isn't working hard enough to kind of struggle to learn the stuff. Like your brain makes neural connections when you struggle
Yep.
to learn. Um, so essentially what I would do, and I have a Chat GPT prompt here that I use. I would like to post it in the chat so that you guys have it. Um, and this has really helped me a lot, a lot, a lot. Um, And pretty much what it is, like you're gonna have ChatGPT like walk you through things step by step, and you're gonna tell it to not do any other work for you. You're gonna have to figure it out. It's gonna be a lot harder, but that's the point. So that's the first thing. Second thing, I would say after you do each step or each phase, or when you're done with the project completely, I would say get a rubber ducky, get a teddy bear, get a pillow. Usually something with a little bit of a face on it helps me the most. You sit it in front of you and you tell it what you did and why. Why is it beneficial? You explain the whole thing that you did. If you can't do that, you don't know the material well enough, go back and redo those parts that you didn't know, or just redo the entire project. Other thing that I did is that I didn't just do the projects that were in the course one time. I did them multiple times. So before I did my mock interview, I think I think I went back and I did tech challenges one, two, and three over. But I also used this prompt that I'm going to post, and I made sure that the prompt knows that I need to target senior cloud engineer roles, and I need to make sure that I'm following industry best practice. Because when you're talking about this stuff, especially if you're getting to the harder interviews, they're going to have, some of these questions. And I also added, I'm doing an SRE project now that I kind of made a bit on my own to kind of tackle a lot of the things that when I was asked some questions I didn't know. So I make sure that I cover that full gambit. That's a project that once I'm done with it, I'm going to also post. So if anyone wants to give that a try as well, they'll be able to. But let me see. Here we are. All right, got it. And I'm posting it in the chat. So that's the first thing. Second thing is for the mock interview, I'm thinking about even doing a second mock interview. Like, if too much time goes by between me having an interview and another one, I will probably just do another mock interview just to make sure that I fully have everything, in my brain, I fully grasp it. But like I said, like I feel like when you get that little teddy bear rubber duck and you explain what you did step by step and why you did it, if you can't fully do that, then I mean, you're gonna struggle in live interviews. I mean, being able to explain to a rubber duck is the easy part. Talking to another human being who's gonna give you pushback or explain or ask why you did something a certain way, or that's gonna be, that's another level of like difficulty. So yeah, I think testing yourself is the best thing to do. Doing these projects over is the best thing to do. If you want, you could even give a prompt to add something a little extra to the project to make it a little different. Um, and yeah, I would say that's the best advice to get it, doing that, practicing, rehearsing. Say, hey, I at my previous job, I worked for a client and you know, um, we had this issue. They were doing a cloud migration, and I proposed an architecture with EC2 instances and an application load balancer, and I configured the VPC, and I blah blah blah. Like, go off on that and explain why you made that. Usually, from my experience, when I did that, it answered a lot of the questions that they had for me already. Like, completely answered it. So by the time I was done with my spiel, they didn't have much else to really say, at that point. But, not every interview is gonna be like that. But that's a strong thing that you could do. So, rehearse, learn the stuff, and if you can rehearse it, generally have a very good, strong understanding of it or close enough.
And number one, thank you so much for the value you just shared because I cannot stress this enough. If somebody actually takes that advice and apply it, like the skill set that the level that you're on, like the level of skill that you're on will definitely increase. It's not even funny. And I want to talk about something important. And Lucas, we still got you. Lucas is going to be the last person, unless there's somebody else who wants to come. But when you go to these interviews, the I want you to understand the problems that you are solving. Facebook had an outage, I think in 2023. It can ask ChatGPT how much, I think they were down for like a couple of hours or a couple of minutes. I can't remember. They lost a lot of money, like multiple millions of dollars that someone with our skill sets could have prevented. Why is that important? You need to come in these interviews with the skill, making sure you know your stuff, but you are valuable. Like they need you. It is not to come into these interviews cocky and arrogant, but to understand like you are valuable. It changes your mindset. It changes how you speak. It changes the confidence. And they can feel that. They can really feel that. Because even when Chris said after he gave his spiel, they answered all of the I've heard that before in terms of, hey, like you actually answered most of our questions. Do you have any questions for us? You're asking them questions to see if you want to work there. Now, obviously, if this is your first job, you're trying to get an offer, but you know, let's, it's like when you already have an offer, or even if you don't have an offer, the mindset that you need to go into this is that you are the prize. Why? Because you saved them multiple millions of dollars. You're getting the short end of the deal. They're only paying you $150,000 or 30, and they're saving multiple millions of dollars. That don't seem like a fair deal to me. And so it's just to say, I have the skill set to save companies multiple millions of dollars, and they know that. And so when you come into these interviews, don't be arrogant, don't be cocky. There's no one likes somebody like that. But you want to come in there with the confidence they can feel that because it's just you understanding the value that you possess to the marketplace. Okay, and they can feel that. And so now when you talk, you're more comfortable. You're still gonna feel nerves. Even for me, if I go on interviews, I still feel nerves. That's normal. But when you start the interview, when you start talking and getting into your bag, right, like just flow state, the nerves goes away. Um, and I just want you guys to understand that mindset of like, hey, I'm valuable. I have a multi-million dollar skill set that can save companies multi-million dollars. And yeah, they actually need me. And so it's not like, oh, like kind of timid, mm-mm, right? And so that will really help you actually communicating and interviewing is understanding that you are valuable and they need you. And so, um, Lucas, are you there? And Chris, thank you so much for sharing. Your
No
testimony was
problem.
amazing, and you've given so many people hope. I already know. How many of you guys, when you saw Chris results, or even right now on the call, you got gives you a little bit of hope? It's like motivating, seeing his results, top of 1%, 1%, 1%. Cool. I see you. That's it. That's okay. It's coming in now. Okay. And so, Chris, just you being you and crushing this program is impacting people. So I truly thank you for doing that. It's making my job easier of really moving the needle forward. And so, Lucas, you can come off mute. Are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Are you good for the video?
Yeah, let me turn that on.
Problem at all. And so Lucas's story is pretty cool. And I want you to kind of just share your experience. Well, first off, everybody, Chris, Jalen, anybody that's on here, that's still on here that spoke, can you guys come off mute? And I want you guys to understand a secret. Now, everybody that talked, before you joined the program, did you feel a sense of fear? Did you feel a sense of uncertainty? Did you feel a sense of like, I don't really know if this is going to work out? You guys say yes, no. You guys can go one on one. Anybody? Chris?
I mean, yeah, I did because there's always a possibility that like, things may not work. I don't really know much of anything about the program until you get in it sometimes.
Yep.
Um, so I don't know the quality of it. And again, I've also had, I think, AI has really helped a lot with using it properly so that you can learn, more when you discover you have certain skill gaps or when you go to these interviews and you're seeing, things. This is not the first time I've been in a program where I was supposed to learn a skill set and then like, use that skill set to get a job. And unfortunately, when I was trying to do that, there was just too much of a skill gap in terms of what I learned and the expectations of the employers in terms of what I needed to know. So after doing a couple interviews, I think with that skill set, I think I was learning Cognos. It was, what's it called? Like It was Cognos with IBM, a data visualization tool. So that's what I was doing. Um, and it just wasn't really the best experience for me. And for me, I kind of felt like, well, geez, I'm going into these interviews and I'm like a deer in headlights without knowing the information they're expecting me to know. And then from there, I was like, well, let me just go back to doing what I was doing already, which is front end Angular development, which is what I was doing before trying to switch over to that skill. Um, and yeah, so I was like, well, this could be a similar experience. I have no idea until I actually joined the program. So I did have some apprehension, but it was kind of like, hey, either I go through and I do it, or I stay in the same position that I've always been.
Okay.
So, which I mean, not gonna lie, wasn't too bad. I mean, I was making good money before, so I'm not gonna, don't cry for me, Argentina. Like I was doing good, But either way, like still, I want to get to that next level. So yeah, so there was some doubts, but
Okay.
hey, so far it's working out really well.
And I want to emphasize that, like anytime you're about to make a change or a commitment, you're going to feel fear. And the people that I've seen, all the successful students, they all felt fear. And I just wanted to call everybody, Jalen, right, Lucas, there's going to be that sense of fear. But the people who make the difference is feeling the fear and still taking action. For me, I've invested $160,000 since December 2021. When I first started investing, I had $200 at the end of every single month. I was living with my parents, right, after paying expenses. I did not have a lot of money to invest. I took out loans and things did not work out. I got scammed for $10,000 one time for my day trading mentor. I got scammed $18,000 for another project. It was like another investment. And so, but I knew that it was going to work out. They say out of 10 businesses, 9 of them fails or something like that. Guess what? I'm gonna start 10 businesses. Literally. One of it's gonna work. And so that was my mindset was I still felt fear, but I'm gonna still start the business. I'm gonna still take the investment. And why? Because I knew that I was going to retire my parents. And they didn't ask me to, but it was something that I wanted to do that really moved me. And so my why superseded all the fears that I had. Okay. And so I can't stress that enough. Like everybody felt fear before joining this program. And there's going to be other investments that you do in the future because as one percenters, the identity of a one percenter, right? We invest. That's how to build wealth. And it's still educating yourself and then making decisions based off of the stuff that you've to make an educated, calculated risk. And so, anyways, Lucas, you there?
Yeah, yeah, I'm here.
Cool, cool. Yeah, so you can kind of talk about your own journey, and Lucas is going to be the last person because we're 10 minutes over. But Lucas, don't rush. Just go ahead and share your spill. And the whole purpose of me having you guys come on here is to really motivate somebody out there. Because when somebody sees somebody being successful, it's like, oh, this stuff, works. I'm going to continue doing my homework. I'm gonna do it faster. And so, Lucas, you can kind of share your experience, how you met me, just everything you want to share and the offer letters and the whole 9 yard, remote, amount, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, so I'll keep mine short. So basically, I was actually unemployed before I got the offer, and before that, I was doing help desk, which I really didn't like. Like, I didn't enjoy it at all. I was underpaid, some very busy work. And then I went through the program, I learned the skills. I did the mock interview, and then after doing like one real interview, I was actually able to get the offer. So I basically got really lucky. You know, I I dedicated to God really because like I was unemployed, and then just came out of nowhere. And after one interview, I was able to get the job. So I just thank God, and I think that I found Tayo in this program.
Uh, and so the was it the first interview or you said what was the first round?
Yeah, it was one round, one interview, and then
Okay.
they sent me the offer. Yeah.
Oh, double whammy. It was both. Okay. And so
Yeah.
how, what was the main thing that really changed for you that really made the biggest difference in terms of, where you were and getting the offer letter? And this is for students, or anybody listening to this if they're not even a part of the program.
Yeah, just like finding the right like blueprint and having the right strategy. Because I tried to get into cloud like before, but it didn't work. So
Yeah.
there was definitely the right blueprint that helped me get that offer.
And why would you say it didn't work before? There's YouTube University, there's other programs. Like, you know,
Yeah,
why didn't it work on your own? And why do you think it worked with, this program? What was like the biggest difference?
yeah. I think this program is like more complete. There's the videos, there's tech challenges that challenge you how to solve problems on your own, and then there's a mock interview which gives you like really important feedback. Yeah, I think this was what I needed, and I was able to get that offer.
Okay, okay. And I want to go ahead and number one, thank everybody who joined. Does anybody have, excuse me, does anybody have any questions, comments, concerns? Um, Absolutely any, yeah, it's unheard of. Like my offer letter it was one round and it was 30 minutes and it was like that was my first offer letter for 135. That's literally God's blessing. And I didn't even know, like I knew like maybe like 3 or 5% of the stuff that I taught in the program. Like I only knew like AWS, like core concepts. I didn't even know all the services, like the core services. I knew like RDS a little bit of Lambda. I did one project because I was studying to be an AWS administrator. Nonetheless, um, yeah, God's blessing. It was crazy. And so, like I said, easy interview. And I actually got the offer letter because of my soft skills. He literally said, if you don't get this position, I'm going to look within my company. This was the CEO of the company. I'm going to find a position for you. The interview is recorded. It's actually in the program. You guys can watch it. But nonetheless, it's just to emphasize the soft skills in terms of the character, right? That really does shine. So, does anybody have any questions, comments, concerns? We're 15 minutes over, but the whole purpose of this Sunday coaching call is to really motivate you and to see what's possible. At the end of the day, I'm not better than you, right? Like I'm no difference from you, right? I just started earlier and I figured out the blueprint. You guys have the same blueprint. Lucas had the same blueprint, has the same blueprint. Chris, right? Everybody who joined, right? Jalen, Jason, Jinjo's not on here. He was supposed to because he got another offer letter, but he's DJing right now. And so the only difference is that they just applied it and they waited. They waited time. And so the blueprint works, the system works, but it's just can you work the system? And it's just waiting. And so congratulations for everybody who got the offer letters. Like your life has dramatically changed for the rest of your life. That is a fact. And you'll see that as you start to work these offers. And then to make $500,000 a year, that's a step by step. You guys really already know how to do that. If you don't, just DM me. I'll show you like it's how to do it step by step. It's a process. It's very simple. The hardest part is learning the skill. And so, if you have any questions, reach out to me in terms of the people that got offers. And everybody who's in the program, like Felipe said, definitely show up to the boot camp calls. The more time and energy that you put inside the blueprint, the faster it expedites the you getting the skill. I will never say, hey, you'll get an offer letter in 2, 3 months. I have no idea. But the skill set, I can bet on that. So, if you guys have any questions, you know where to go. And everybody who joined, I really appreciate your time. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. Last thing, um, oh, somebody dropped already. Last thing, I am about to start building a consulting business to provide more opportunities for you guys. And it's going to be I'll say probably like 3, 4, 5 months. So don't expect, oh, I'm gonna wait to get a job under Tayo. Don't think like that. Just announcing it. And then next Sunday we have Casmin coming on. She's the recruiter. All right, she's going to be sharing you gems and doing like LinkedIn reviews, the whole 9 yards to give you guys an inside scoop. And show up to the bootcamp calls. And the Wins channel, because I'm migrating my AI, it was on AWS to my Mac Mini. Um, Literally it's just time, but I plan on it's a really simple fix. I plan on fixing it or integrating that within the new Mac Mini. I would say really today. But if not today, it's going to be tomorrow. And then I'm going to upload the C2C uh, a masterclass that Justice did last Wednesday and this call too as well. It's going to be in the program. And I'll put in the announcements and tag everybody. So uh, let's see. Is the program focused on AWS only? Does the program help you figure out? What type of jobs are ideal for job stacking? That might be a different Jason who's probably not in the program. But yeah, we literally cover everything from A to Z. The program is based on AWS, but as I think Magnus talked about, he's doing Azure, right? So even I don't teach Azure. He didn't know Azure, but it's just the same concepts. It's just different names and a few things that's different. And so yeah, we show you what type of jobs to go for job stacking. And everybody who joined, everybody who shared their experience, thank you so much. You are impacting a lot of lives indirectly and directly. So I really appreciate your time. And I'll see you on the next call. You guys enjoy the rest and anybody that's interested, if you're not in the program, just DM me the word 1%. If you're interested, we're going to go ahead and qualify you, see if you're qualified. But I will say this is for people who are definitely committed. And so thank you, everybody, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you. And so things are just getting started. It's time to work. And I'll see you guys next Sunday. Appreciate you, Lucas, and Chris, and everybody, Jalen, Jason, Stormy, everybody. Appreciate you guys.